Is this okay? Yes, team?
Okay.
All right. So let me just pause the recording first. Okay, done. All right. So till now, what we have discussed about where we can choose the web application and when we can choose the function app. And for the function app, here we are having the input bindings and here we are having the output bindings, which means it's a direction. And what are the plans? So when we can choose a consumption plan, if you want a cheapest solution, then you can go for the consumption plan. But if you want a network integration like a inbound traffic, then you can go for the function premium. But for the both of the cases, we will have a 200 instances. You can go up to 200 instance and everything will be managed by Microsoft for these two plans, right? And then when we can choose the ASP, if it is existing in your portal, then you can use it. Or if you want a always on, then and then only you can create a ASP for your function app, right? So let's create one function app. So from here, I can just search for function. So see here I have a function app. Now you are creating the function app, not a function. So inside that function app, you can create a multiple functions. So I'm using here resource group. Here again, you can just put your name, unique name, because it will also create the URL. So I can choose Madhvi function 123. Okay, that's it. Here also you will have a Docker container or you can just go with the code. So in my last web application, I have chosen ASP.NET. So here let's choose a node.js. And here I'm selecting the East US region, done. And see here, if I'm selecting the serverless consumption plan, then I'm not getting anything over here. But let's say if I'm selecting the function premium, see here, this is my function premium and I need to select some of the reserved instances. See here. And everywhere you will get a virtual network integration. And also it is called as a rapid scaling, right? So isolated version is not present because that requirement has already fulfilled over here. So that's it. I don't want it. If I'm getting inside my ASP, see here function premium instead of that ASP. So you can choose. If you remember, I have created that ASP, right, in my web application. So if you have an existing one, you can use that. But let's say if I want to go with my consumption plan, I can just go with that. And then the hosting is very important. Hosting means what? Function app is the triggering function, triggering mechanism. So whenever there is a trigger, it will create some logs in the backend. And that logs we need to store somewhere. Maybe it's a serverless, maybe it's a function consumption plan or function premium or anything, but I need for the logging purpose, I need a separate storage. So this will be your storage for the logs and all this stuff, right? To trigger that things. As well as you can use that storage account for your another purpose. If you want to put some inputs or output binding over there, then also you can do that. So this is what RG app 9758, like that. So I'm okay with that. Networking, again, here you can manage your outbound, and that outbound is only for the function premium and the ASPs, dedicated ASPs. Monitoring, again, as I said, one application inside you can use for multiple web application as well as function app. See here, this is my function, or this is my application settings, insights for my web application. So I'm using this one only. Deployment. So here also, if you have your code in your repository, you can utilize that and then review and create it. So this is what a function app, not a function. So now inside the function app, you can create multiple functions. So what I have done, I have created a function app. Now inside that, there are multiple functions. You can create multiple functions inside that. So every function, let's say this is a function number 1. Every function is having two files. It contains two files. One is a code file. Another one is function.json file. Function.json is a must. So this JSON will not change. If you are using the .NET version, if you are using the C# or anything, it never change. But here the code file will change the extension as per the .js, maybe you are using the .NET or Python or anything like that. It will change the code index dot something as per your code. So right now I have chosen that the node.js. So here it will be like that, js.js or index.js, right? But this file is same function.json, which includes the bindings. What is mean by bindings? Input and output direction. So this is my function app. So whatever coming inside and whatever going outside, these are called as input and output bindings, right? What is the direction of it? And remember that one function is having only one trigger, but having multiple inputs. Let's say if I'm having a trigger which is a 1 hour, right? After every 1 hour it will trigger, which is a timer trigger. And for the input, I'm taking the input from a multiple sensors. So I can add a multiple sensors over there, and I can just copy that value and I can just put it into the database, storage account, or anywhere. Whatever my outputs are there, I can just do that. But only one trigger, right? So this is what my function app. So let's get inside that. See here, this part is done. And also there is another advantage of a function app. Let me just show you that whenever I'm creating the function app, see here, runtime stack. So either you can choose a .NET, either you can choose a Node.js, Python, and Java. But where is the Ruby? Where is the C#? Where is another things? So here, if you want to create, instead of these programming languages, if you want to create another programming language, or if you want to select another runtime, then you can go for the custom handler. Okay, so that will be also your question in your examination. Just remember that. So this part is done. Now let me just get inside my function. So this is my function app. And inside the function app, here we have a functions, right? And here Microsoft has given multiple triggers. Now there is another advantage. Either you can create your function by using the portal like this. Either you can create it by using the Visual Studio Code or any editor tool. So like a web application, we have discussed about that. Locally, you can create a locally your function. Inside that, you can just create a triggers inside that. You can just create a connectivity and then you can publish it over here. That is also possible. Now here, I'm just going with my portal only. So here, these are the basic one. Two things are the basic one, which is the HTTP trigger and the timer trigger. Here we have a queue storage. If you want to trigger by using the queue storage, if somebody uploads something into the queue storage, then you want to trigger it, you can do that. Service bus, similar way. This is your service bus. Service bus queues are the messaging, message-based solutions. It means it will transfer the data from one device to the other device, like your WhatsApp, your SMS. Not only like that, we will have a multiple kind of message based solutions. So we required it. So if I want to send some information to the other application, like say there is a Flipkart. Again, I'm taking the same example for throughout the sessions. Flipkart. If you are putting something into the cart, right? And if you purchase that particular product, then it will redirect you to the other application, which is a payment application. So in between two application, if you want to build some communication, you can use this one. You can use the service bus, or you can use the queue storage. Or let's say there is a cart. If you want to store some data into the cart, you can go with the queue storage. So like that, these are the message-based solutions. Event Hub is the event-based solution, which will capture the data only. We will going to talk about that part as well. Cosmos DB. We have a IoT Hub. We have a SendGrid. SendGrid again. SendGrid is the email notification. See here, a function that sends confirmation email when new items is added to the particular queue. So if my flipkart.com is having something like that, whenever you are purchasing the order, you will get an email notification on your email ID. So if I want to create that kind of thing, then I can use a SendGrid. Event grid is there, function, durable function is there. Now what is meant by durable function? We will going to discuss about that. Kafka is there. Kafka, again, it's a capturing mechanism. RabbitMQ is a capturing mechanism. It's again, we are having the signal R. Again, it's a capturing the things, right? So let's start with the HTTP trigger and timer trigger. We are not going to talk about each and everything. We are just focusing on the basic one. Now, whenever I'm selecting that, then let's say this is a HTTP trigger. And here there are three authorization levels. What do you want? Do you want to access it only through the function key? So if you want to access this URL, let's say this anonymous means anybody can access it through the URL. Function means if you want to access this, you need to put a URL with key, function key. It is must over here. And admin means no one can access it, only the administrative person for that portal can access this. So I'm just making it as an anonymous one, and then I can just create it. Okay. Now, whenever I'm creating it, if I'm getting inside my code plus test, as I said, every function is having a 2 files. So see here we are having the index.js file, which is a code file. And here I am having a function.json file. So if I'm going in through that, see here, only in is what? It's the HTTP trigger is a in. And here we have a response. We will get a HTTP output, which is the response, which is a out function. Got it? So, sorry, you don't need to write anything over here. It will automatically get added if you are adding some integration. I will show you that part as well. But let's go over here, index.js file first. And see here. Here it's a simple code which is throwing the HTTP response as a hello. This HTTP trigger function executed successfully. And in order to add the name, you can add it into the query string by using the equal to name. See here, by using the question mark. Here you will get a question mark. And see, whenever I'm running it, it will generate a log files, and that log files will store in storage account, right? Now, if you want to check, test and run, you can just test and run it. Let's say instead of Azure, I'm just using Azure 1. I'm just sending some name in a query string. See here, hello Azure 1, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. I can do that. Now, if you want to access it, so here we are having the get function URL. So you can just copy that value and then you can just paste it over here. See here, this is done. Still, I have not put any kind of query string. So if you want to add the query string by using the question mark, name is equal to Madhvi. Is that equal to sign is not working? What is that? My touchpad equal to sign is not working properly. All right, let me just give you this URL. Can anybody check? Yes, just access it and then question mark name is equal to your name. Can you please tell me about that? Whether you are accessing it or not?
Yes, it's working fine. I was able to access it.
Yes. Only here, the same thing you need to do. Just here you need to provide your equal to sign. That's it. Here, equal to. And then you can just enter it. So it will give you, hello Madhvi, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Okay. So this part is done. Now here we are having the integrations. So integration here, see, trigger is only one. Here you will not getting any option to add the trigger. No, only one trigger for one function. And here you will get a multiple input. So you can just add a multiple inputs here. So if you want to add a multiple inputs, maybe you want to add a blob storage, Cosmos database, stable storage, durable client, orchestrator client, or signal R, anything, you can just add it. Even you can add a multiple outputs as well. So if you want to put that data into the blob storage or anywhere, you can just do that. So right now, I'm not going to talk about that integration. I'm not creating any kind of integration, but we will going to create another function where we are going to add an integration. So let's create a timer function for that. Now, this is again another basic function. So whenever we are having a timer trigger anywhere, remember that anywhere in Microsoft, or I can say that specifically anywhere in Azure portal, in GitHub, wherever it is owned by Microsoft, wherever there is a scheduler, it's using a cron expressions only. Now, what is mean by cron expression? So cron expression is the 6-digit format. So first digit will give you a second, second digit will give you minute, third digit will give you hour, fourth digit will give you month of a day, day of the week, something. So if you want to really search for the cron expressions, see here. So 6 digits are mandatory. You have to add a 6 digit. So see here, first digit will give you a second, second digit minute, hour, day of month, month and day of week. And you can divide it or you can specify with the special characters. Now, what are the special characters here? Comma. Comma means and operator. Means if I want to trigger this particular thing on first day and second day and third day, then I can choose this and operator. This is a to operator. So if I want to run this from this 13 to 15, then I can use a to operation, means 13-15. Star means every, and this one is at. at every 5 minutes. Like that, you can just add it. See here, these are the expressions. So if you want to fire at 12 p.m. noon every day, then you can just add like this. So these are the operators, these are the special characters. So you can just go through that. And wherever there is a timer trigger or wherever there is a scheduler, Microsoft always use a cron expressions only, right? So this part is done again. So I'm just going through that, create it. Now here, I haven't added any kind of output. I don't have any kind of input. Only it's a triggering mechanism after every 5 minutes. That's it. It means it will have only the in trigger or in bindings. So if I'm getting inside my code plus test, so see here, I'm having a function.json and here I have a index.js. So here, if I'm getting inside that function.json, so here only in part is there, right? That's it. But now I am going with that integration. So for the integration, only I have a trigger. I can add inputs or I can add outputs. So let's say if I want to add outputs, I can choose my blob storage or Cosmos DB or Event Hub, Queue storage or Kafka or any SendGrid or Twilio. So Twilio is the, I can say that telecom interface. Now Twilio means what? If you remember Indian Idol or Big Boss. So all the participants are there, right? And we need to vote them. So in order to vote them, we need to send a message or we need to call some number. So that part is nothing but it's a Twilio message or SMS. So it will trigger this Twilio function over there, right? So these are the different options. So let's say I have not created my Cosmos DB or Event Hub and all these things. So let's get inside the blob storage, because if you remember, I have already created the blob storage whenever I have created the function app by default. So let's use that. And this is a web job storage. So I can just choose that one only. And here I can add a blob parameter name. So just copy that. I need it. And then let me just see here. This one, container, out container. So my path will be out container random GUID. Now what is mean by that random GUID? So it means after every 5 minutes, it will trigger that function and whatever the output is there, it will store in the out container in my storage account with some random global unique identifier. So it will generate like that. And then I can say that, okay, done. Okay, so this part is done. Now, if you look into that code plus test, it will automatically get added in my function.json. Okay, let me just get inside my function.json. See here, output block. So you don't need to write anything over here. If you want to write, you can just write it. Otherwise, you can just add it into the integration. And now I'm getting inside my index.js. Now here, I want to make some changes because what will be the output? I don't know. So it will be like that the JavaScript is running late like that. I don't want this. So I'm just removing these lines. And instead of that, I can just add context bindings. So why this is that? Context. and dot bindings. Bindings means I have added my bindings. With what name? It's a output blob, right? And then equal to is not working for me. What I can do?
Just copy the equal to from the top.
From the?
From the top. Timestamp equal to.
Yes, yes, yes. Thanks for that. Okay, here I can just copy and paste. Thank you so much. And now here I can just add some sentence. Anything? Hi, my name is Madhu. Okay. I can just add here Madhvi, and then I can just use this one, semicolon. That's it. And then you can just save it. Done. Now, once you're done with that, you can just test and run. That's it. So how we can check it? I need to check inside my storage account. See here, it is saying that 202 accepted. Then what I can do over here, I can get inside my storage account. Here, this is my storage account. And then I can get inside my containers. It should have an out container. See here, this is my out container. And this is some random GUID, right? So I can just get inside and just check what is inside that. See, hi, my name is Madhvi. So it means it is working. So after every 5 minutes, it will generate a 111111 file. So you can do whatever you want by using that function app, by using that trigger, which is present inside your application or inside your function, right? But here in real-time environment, so this is only a trigger. This is only a trigger, right? One trigger with multiple inputs and multiple outputs. But what if I have some requirement for the chaining type or any requirement which is having a multiple functions in a one form? So say here we look into the input bindings, we look into the output bindings, we have talked about the what are we can add some inputs and outputs. But here there is a nowhere a function as an input and output. So we cannot add one function as an input or one function as an output. There is no option. And this is not a long running process. It's a very, very small kind of functions. But if I really required it for the long running process, then what I can do? I cannot do it by using this. If I want to connect one function with the other function with the third function, I cannot do it. There's no option for that. So for this particular reason, we are having a durable function. So durable function, yeah, I'm not going to demonstrate, otherwise it will go bouncer for you. But I will just discuss about that. So let's talk about the durable function. Azure. So durable function means what? It's a kind of extension for your main Azure function app. Extension means what? It will give you the benefit to create a long running process by using the function app. So this is called as a durable function. Now, whenever I'm talking about the long running process, let's say I have some requirement. So let's say there is a one PDF, or let's say there is one very, very older book is there, or some kind of biography or something, and it's a very, very rare version. and you want to create that pages are also not in a good condition. Some of the characters are missing and all that kind of pages are there, and you want to regenerate or recreate that document, and you need to just create a soft copy for that, right? Now how we can do that? So you can do it by using the image compression and all the tools, right? So you can do that, or otherwise you can just write it in the function app. So now let's say I'm just uploading some page over here, which is not in a good condition. After that, it will trigger, or it will just do the increase the brightness and so on. So I can say that it is having some, let's say, sharper. It will make a better image from that. So I can just use that. So here I'm just increasing that brightness, right? After that, I need to check that characters. So I can trigger the another function where I can go with the OCR, object character recognition. So it will just check that. Okay, let's say this is a Madhvi. Let's say, or I can say that Azure. And in that Azure, this particular letter is missing. So at least it will recognize A, Z, U, E, right? And there is some space. So by using the object character recognition, it will check that. So that code, I can put it in my another function. So this is my first function. This is my second function. Now, my third function will check spelling, right? So my third function, I can write some code over there to check the spelling. So it will give me that Azure, and then upload that particular page into the database or into the blob storage or somewhere. So this is my function number 3. This is my function number 4. So it should be in a sequence. So this will be my first function. Second, this will trigger. After that, third will trigger. And after that, fourth will trigger. So this kind of requirement is called as a chaining requirement. Now, in order to do that, we need some functions who will trigger the first function. So that will be the HTTP trigger or durable HTTP trigger, function trigger. Another thing, this is my normal function, function, and functions. But here, who can make sure the sequence? So for that particular reason, you require an orchestrator. Anyone know about what is the term orchestration? Yes?
No.
No. All right. So orchestration means what? Which will put each and everything in a sequence. I can say that you can just group all the functions together, but this is not the correct word for this. It will group each and every function, but not in a sequence. But if you want to group them together, but follow with the same sequence, then you require another function, which is orchestrator function. So if I'm comparing that orchestrator function with some, let's say there is a music concert, right? Or music studio. At that music studio, there are multiple peoples. So this particular person is good in piano. This person is good in drum. This person is good in violin, like that, right? And there is another person who holds the stick in his hand. And he is going through that. Okay, this one is going for the first, second, and third, right? If you observe that person. So maybe this person is good in a piano, not good in a drum. That is no issue. This person is good in a violin, but not in a drum and piano. That is also not the issue. They just need to follow this particular person, and that person is called as an orchestrator. So orchestrator should understand each and everything. Orchestrator should know about how piano, drum, and violin plays, right? And this person is called as an orchestrator. So the one who make each and everything in a sequence is called as an orchestrator. Is this clear?
Yes, Madhvi.
Okay, great. So here we need an orchestrator function. Then what is called that functions? So these functions are called as activity functions. These functions are called as activity functions, and that has a proper requirement, or as I said, who does the proper work, activity. All the activities are present over there, and in the orchestrator you need to add each and every one in a sequence. So first one I will call this one F1, then I will call F2, then I will call F3, and then I will call F4. So like that, all the sequence I will put it in my orchestrator function, right? So this is what a durable function. But for the durable function, this is an extension in my Azure Function app. So that's why you need to install a package for that orchestrator. So I'm not going to confuse you in between that, but just remember, for packages are required for the durable function. For example, if you are working in the .NET, you need to install the NuGet package for the orchestrator or the durable function. If I'm using Node.js, then I need to install npm for the durable function. So I'm not going to demonstrate it, right? But if you want, I will give you the link. Okay. So this is what the function. So these are the first kind of scenario. Let's say there is another scenario. Let's talk about that scenarios from here. So whatever I have explained here, this is the first scenario, which is the function chaining. So if you want to work on the one by one process, then you can just go for it. Chaining means one function is dependent on the previous function. So let's say order, sales order. So that kind of stuff also you can put it over here. Whenever we are having the card, inside that card, again you are going for the purchase order, then it will trigger that particular function, then it will go for the another application. You can just add that kind of sequence as well. So this is kind of a chaining process, and this will work like this. See here, F1 will trigger at any time, but once F1 will trigger, it will generate a output X, and X will trigger F2, will generate Y, Y will trigger F3, it will give you Z, and Z will trigger F4, right? So this is your orchestrator function. This is what your orchestrator function, where you are giving the sequence of the activity functions. Now here, this is another option, which is the fan out and fan in. So this fan out and fan in, I can take some example of social media account. So let's say if you are uploading some image on the social media account, then that particular image will give you different kind of effects. One will give you a black and white effect. One will give you a let's say red color effect. One will give you a another kind of effect, anything, right? Brightness and anything. So I have just written some code in my this activity function, second activity function, and third activity function. And at the end, I need that whole page like this. My first image, this will be my black and white, this will be my red hue, and this will be my green hue color. So like that, I'm getting the each and every data at the same time. So maybe for the black and white color, it will take a 3 seconds. For the red hue, it will take 1 second. For the green hue, it will take 1 second again. So parallel, this is the parallel process. Fan out and fan in means what? Every function should wait to end each and every one. So this, what is the particular word? function to finish. Wait for all functions to finish. You have to wait for all. And then only the output will trigger F3. So the total time period for this parallel mechanism is 3 seconds. Because it will take only 1 second, it will take only 1 second. So whatever the maximum time is, it's a 3 second, right? So after 3 seconds, it will trigger F3 function to put that data on again on the social media account or anywhere. So whatever you want, you can just make that. So this is what a fan function out, fan out and fan in. And if you want to create that, then you can just add like this. See here, F1 will trigger at any time. Then F2 will start the work batch. And here you can define your work batch, how many number of counts. And then it will wait parallel task. It will take a summation of all the results, and that summation will trigger the F3 function. So that is what fan out and fan in. Another thing, we have a async HTTP API. So I'm just taking some simple example. I'm not saying that that example will actually use the durable function in the backend, but in order to understand the concept behind that, I can just use that like a virtual machine. So whenever we are creating a virtual machine, or let's say, okay, let's take the virtual machine example, right? So this is my virtual machine example. Now, whenever you start the deployment, so actual time for the deployment is, ideal time is 2 minutes, right? So in between that, if you are going through the deployment again and again and again, you are refreshing that page, then you will get, okay, it is creating, succeeded, provisioning. So like that options, right? We are getting that kind of options. So why we are getting that kind of options? Because of this get status. Because whenever you are refreshing that page, it means you are requesting for what is the status of it. So it will check whenever you start it, it will check the status of it. So that is what the async HTTP API. So it will simple, it will call the postman like that. So you can just check what is the status of your work. So you can use that async HTTP for that. So see here, you can just apply like this. And here, yes, you can just go like this. So you will get whether it is running, whether it is completed, you will get that output. Monitoring. Again, I am taking the same example for monitoring. Monitoring means what? It will, most of the time, this particular functions are using in earthquake detections. So what is meant by that? Let's say I'm not taking that earthquake detection. I'm just taking again the virtual machine example. Let's say the ideal time period is 2 minutes. But it is still deploying. After 2 minutes also, if it is deploying, then also it is not working. It is not having the status as a succeeded. Then something went wrong. So I'm not thinking about that something went wrong. I will just break the chain and I will send the alert that deployment failed. That's it. Right? So similar way for the earthquake detection, if you are putting some particular number, okay, this is the 8 or 9 hectare or something like that, you can just put that numbers. And then whenever it is reaching to this particular thing, then stop everything and send the alert. So this is what the monitoring. So you can use that monitoring as well over here, right? So this is the one. If you want to implement that, see here, the get status job. Get the job status. If it is completed, then it is well and good. If it is not completed, then you can send alert. Break the chain and you can send the alert for that, right? So you can add like this. Now, this is more interesting, which is a human interaction. Human interaction means what? Let's say in your office, in your organization, there are multiple projects, right? and you need the approval for your project from your reporting manager. So you will send the message, or you will send a mail, or you will just upload it somewhere and it gets approved from your manager. So this is the one. Most of the time we are using that particular thing over there. But let's take a simple example. Let's say every organization is having the application to apply a leave. Let's say my organization is also having the one platform, which is a KEKA, from where I can apply for a leave, and then my reporting manager will approve it, right? So let's say I have requested for a leave. Now, whenever I'm requesting for my leave, then I need to wait for my manager to approve that. So how much time I will wait for it? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? Maybe my manager is not checking that. Maybe my manager is on leave, right? So what I can do? I have to wait for my reporting manager. So on that level, you can introduce that human interaction function, durable function, where you can put some expiry time. Expiry time means you can just put some particular time period. Okay, whenever somebody is requesting for the approval, you will wait for 24 hours for the approval. If after 24 hours, it will check whether it is approved or not. If not, this is your manager. If not, then escalate that particular request and give it to the higher authority. Let's say HR person or anybody else. The manager is also reporting to somebody, BU heads. So you can just escalate that. And then this person will approve your request, and that person will ask the question in the backend. I don't need to worry about that. So HR will approve my request, or the BU head will approve my request. That's it. My work is done, right? So this is the part of human interaction. So here we will have a human interaction. See here how to do that. Request approval. You can just enable that request for any time, right? After that, you can just add some number, add hours, 72 hours. Check the status. See here, process approval. If it is pending, then just escalate it. Escalate and send it to the other person. Right? See here. Escalate and send it to the other person, approval request, and then get it approved. So like that, you can just add it. And this is another one, which is the stateful entities, which is the aggregators. Sixth pattern is about aggregating event data over the period of time into the single addressable entity. So if you want to add each and everything in a single entity, then also you can just add it. That's it regarding with the durable function. Any questions till that? Yes? Any questions on the function app?
No, Madhvi.
Okay, great. So let's move towards the logic app. Right? So let's get inside the logic app. Why we are using the logic app?
Madhavi,
Yes.
I've got two questions. Any exceptions are there for the durable functions?
Examples or exceptions you are asking?
Exceptions. Any exceptions are there, like while creating these patterns, as you explained to us, any kind of exceptions happens or are there where we need to do anything which is which we need to have to take care of it while creating these patterns?
Okay, so in order to do that, first of all, you need to install the package for the durable function. That is a must. Otherwise, you cannot create a durable function. So this is the first part. Another part, your integrations, your orchestrator. The orchestrator sequence should be correct, because after that, you cannot connect any other functions. You have only one function. You can access only one function. And throughout the end of till end, you cannot check any process, because in the back end, storage account will do each and everything. It will communicate between each and every function in between the durable function activities. So you are not having any kind of control on that. Only you can change only into that orchestrator function and the activity, what is the actual activity inside that. So these are the two things you have to make sure, whether you have installed the durable function package, or and also you have put the correct sequence for your activity. These are the two things. Is that
Okay.
clear?
Yeah, absolutely, Madhavi. Another thing which I'd like to ask, how, from the exam perspective, how this is important, this durable part.
Okay, so durable function is there in a 305, only the introductory part. So it's a kind of only 1 or 2 sentence durable function. We are not having in a deeper way. As I explain you what is mean by chaining process and all these things, you will not getting example or the questions on that. Only why we are using the durable function, that's it.
Okay, okay, great.
Right?
Thank you, Madhavi.
All right. Okay, so let's create a logic app now. Now here I'm just putting some name, logic, Madhvi logic. Okay. And here workflow, or if you want to use the Docker container, again, you can just use that. And here I'm using my East US region. Here I'm okay with that standard one, or you can just go with the consumption plan. You can just go for it. And then that's it. See here, there is no application inside, there is nothing. So you can just review and create it. That's it. The advantage of a logic app is why we can choose a logic app. If you are a developer, still sometimes we need to choose a logic app because it's inbuilt connectors. So let's say logic app is having the connectors with the directly with the social media account, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything is here. So there are 300 plus connectors are already there. But there are some limitations. It means you cannot create a logic app locally, or you cannot deploy it locally. You can create it, but you cannot deploy it locally because all the connectors are connected with that Microsoft account only. See here. Now, whenever you're starting first time, it will redirect directly to the logic app designer, where you will have a multiple things. Either you can go blank, or you can choose any templates from here. So there are multiple templates, inbuilt templates are there. See here. When message is received in service bus queue, when a new tweet is posted on a Twitter, if you want to trigger that part as well, when a event grade resource event occurs, file added or delete old blobs, auto tier Azure blob based on the last modified time, anything, whatever you want, you can just do that. So here there are inbuilt templates are there if you really don't want to write or if you don't want to create a logic for that. But if you want to create your own logic, you can just do that. You are free to do that. See here, get daily reminder emails to you, right? You will get that reminders. If there is a logic app behind that, you can just create that. Email yourself new tips about certain keywords via Outlook. It means whenever, let's say if you are creating some hashtag corona, if somebody tweets like that, or hashtag COVID, then it will send you the email notification. So you can just use that. Schedule, add message to queue, scheduler is there. See here, Facebook. Share my tweets on the Facebook. Directly, you can just create a logic app and you can just share your tweets on the Facebook. Automatically, you can do that. So like that, there are multiple ways, there are multiple templates are there. So let's say if I want to go blank I just wanted to go with the blank logic app where I can create my own logic. So let's say there is a all. I can just go for all actions also. If I want to get inside the built-in, see here, Azure function, Azure API, Azure app, everything is here. HTTP control, everything is here. So you don't need to worry about that. There are multiple things are present over here. You can add some conditions as well. See here, these are the conditions, controls. For each loop, you can add scope, you can add switch also, you can do that. Terminate, when you want to terminate it, everything you can just do that. Let's say I'm just taking the example of blob storage. So here, first of all, you need to figure out when condition. For the triggering purpose, you need to check when condition. Let me just use Azure or blob. Let me just search for blob and trigger. See here, anything, whatever you want. See here, Jira is also there. Intersoft is there. Everything is here. You can just choose that. So see here, if I'm choosing this Azure blob storage, then this is my one part, which is when a blob is added or modified. So I can just pick that. So when condition is very, very important. So I can choose this particular condition. So what I'm going to do here, so when somebody uploads some blob on my storage account, I want to send an email notification on my personal email ID or any company email ID or anything by using the logic app. So what is my condition? When somebody upload that particular blob. Okay, so I need to put the connection name. Let's say I'm just putting some connection name as a storage connection. Put that. Access key. If you want to connect with the logic app managed key identity or the Azure AD integrated, or you can just go with the access key. Now, where is my access key? So let me just go over here and open my portal. Again from here. Okay, so here I have my storage account. If you remember, I have created it, right? And then I can just add some container. Let's add some container where I can upload that blobs. Test container and make it as a container level. What is meant by storage account? That part I will tell you tomorrow. Okay. And here, if you look into that, here we have an access key. So this is your access key and this is your connection string. So you need to make it show. So see here, this is the access key. Now the name are blob endpoints, Azure storage account name or blob endpoints. What is meant by that? The name or blob endpoints of the Azure storage account the connector should be. So what is the name of my storage account? This is the name of my storage account. Copy that and paste it. Now here I need to add my storage account access key. So where is my access key? This is my access key. And then I can just put it over here and then create a connection. Done. Once I'm done with that, it will ask me, what is your blob? So use this connection. Done. Now select a container. So I need to select my container. What is that container name? Test container, right? So I can just choose that test container. Number of blob to return. At a one time, how many number of blobs? If I'm storing 20 blobs at a one time, then I will get only 10 numbers, first 10 data, I will get that data only. So here you can specify 20, 10, 100, anything. And then how often do you want to check for items? So after every 5 seconds, let's say after every 5 seconds, I want to check for the updates, whether somebody is uploaded something or not. So I can just choose that seconds. If you want to add a new parameters, you can just add the time zone or start time, anything, whatever you want, you can just add it. So this part is done. Now when, after when condition, what is next? I don't know. So let me just check whether I want to add some condition or something, anything, I can just put that. But let me just add a Outlook. I want to send the mail, right? So I need to send a mail, but from where? You can send a mail from some email ID, right? So it should be having some Outlook, Office 365 Outlook, outlook.com is there. So you can just choose that Outlook, Office 365 Outlook or outlook.com. Anything is okay for that. After that, what do you want? Do you want to send a mail? So I can just choose that send email with options, send up automatic reply, send approval email, and anything from the shared mailbox, send an email, anything, whatever you want, you can just send it. Let's say I'm just using that send an email. So I can just choose that send an email. Now, first of all, I need to connect with my Office 365 account, from where that email will send. So I can choose here my Office 365 account. Done. Now to whom you want to send the mail. So let's say I want to send a mail to madhvi.chetan21@gmail.com. I can just put that madhvi.chetan21@gmail.com. Specify some words, subject. So this is an email, right? So I need to add some subject. Blob has been added. Okay, and here I can just specify that. What is that added blob? Kindly look into that. Okay, and if you want to add some contents, you can just add that content. Content means if you want to send, what is the list of file, list of item, list of file name. If you want to add some more thing, let's say size, file size also, if you want to add that. If you want to add some another thing, media type, last modified, anything, list file path also, you can just add that. So here I can just put that, I can just enter it, then here enter this. So whatever you want, you can just put that. And here, what is your importance? Whether it is a very, very low importance, normal or high importance, you can just put that importance. If you want to add some more parameters, you can just add CC, from, anything, whatever you want. And once you're done with that, just save it. Done. Okay. So this part is done. Now, first of all, you need to run it. So it will run each and every step. Okay. So see here, successfully checks the trigger. After every 3 seconds, it will check it. So let me just go over here in my container, which is the test container. And let me just upload some blobs. Pictures. Do I have some pictures? No. Data. Backup. Okay. No. Okay, I want some images. Okay, I can put this image and open it and upload it. That's it. So let's see here, successfully check the trigger. See here, after every 5 seconds. And then let me just get inside my email. See here, blob has been added. What is that? Kindly look into that. This is the name, this is the size, this is the particular time date, and this is the path. So like that, you will get each and every detail. And from where I will get that? This is my sender, and I will get that on my personal email ID. Is this clear? How to do that? Yes?
Yes, Madhavi.
Great. So if you want to get inside the code view, Microsoft has created a JSON file for you in the backend. Okay. Here, if you want to add some more designers or anything, you can just add it, or you can just delete anything. See here, just click on that and then rename, delete, whatever you want, you can just do that. Okay. So this part is done now. If you want to add more designs, you can just add that from here. Okay. So other than that, everything is normal, right? All right, so we have done with the today's agenda, all 3 applications, web application, function app, and logic app. Any questions on that? Yes, any questions on that? Yes, team?
As of now, no, Madhavi. Everything is good.
Okay. All right, let me just stop my recording.